a doctor and his boss. This is Kenya Red Cross Secretary General Abbas Gulet and his deputy Dr. James Kisia, together with volunteers, running to what was a death trap. Saturday, the Westgate Mall. Death and destruction at noon, and the unfolding events that saw Dr. Kisia rush to the Westgate, the scene of a terror attack from an event at the National Museum of Kenya, Nairobi. What they found at that parking lot has so far been described in one word: horrific.
You know, the whole thing looked almost like a war zone. You know, people were dead everywhere. There were people with, you know, with huge wounds, you know, all over, you know, in the lower limbs, abdomen, some of them with shots in the head. What we started doing immediately was basically, you know, what you are trained to do. You know, at that point, your training, my training as a doctor, you know, my profession, that just kicked in and calmed down and went into looking at, you know, first examining the patient to see whether they were breathing, see if they had a pulse, and then, you know, check on their levels of circulation in terms of, you know, whether they were pale or whether they, you know, whether they have lost a lot of blood, you know, whether we needed to stop blood. We, you know, used bandages, stopped the bleeding where we needed to, and, you know, fixed lines and got fluids moving.
This way. We can't take your car for now. We'll just take you. Don't worry, alhamdulillah, you're well and okay. Go into the ambulance.
The Red Cross boss had to take charge at this critical moment when time was of the essence.
So we need to have teams, and we're going to work like a machine. There are those who might need drip and IV fluids. We work on that. If we now need more doctors, someone was asking me about doctors a few minutes ago. Yeah, there was a guy who was asking me. Now call, tell we can get teams of doctors who can come here and work with us, but even nurses, very good nurses who can do drip lines. Drip lines, yeah. Okay?
Generally, the rule of thumb is that if someone is shouting loudly, you know, at least you have hope with that one. So the ones that were quiet were the ones that we needed to assess very quickly and, you know, and get them out to the hospital. Make sure we stop the bleeding and make sure that we start the fluids going in so that they don't go into what you call hypovolemic shock due to pressure being very low, because that shock is almost, you know, it's not reversible. Once somebody goes into shock, then all the organs will shut down.
But saving lives also required exemplary coordination between the security officers tasked with securing the area and the paramedics.
As the police or security forces are going floor by floor, they say they've cleared the 4th floor, 3rd floor, 2nd floor,
not actually.
The 1st floor, ground floor. And that's where we're sure there'll be casualties, God forbid. Okay. There are also other casualties already that we have no access to. What we have had access so far is only for those who have managed to come out walking themselves, that we have ferried and taken them down to go and go with their way. But now the challenge would be, first of all, to deal with the new casualties we'll find along the way, and then as the fighting goes on, what will happen with those that will be at Naku?
You know, Abbas and one of our colleagues decided to go in and check whether there were people that needed attention that were inside after so much shooting. He then called for me and said, look, I need to come in because there are people who are bleeding, we need to take them out. And you know, it was at that time that my colleagues and I and some of the other ones from St. John's and others from AMREF went inside and evacuated some of the people that had been shot. You know, some of them, of course, did not make it, but some did make it.
They remained aware of the urgency and the danger that they were exposing themselves to.
You know, if you think about the dangers that were there and you hesitate for a minute, there's no way you'll do that work. You almost have to be, with a lot of adrenaline flowing, have to be almost, you know, very calm and, you know, in a matter almost observing yourself do work as opposed to, you know, doing the work, because you have to be, there's the person doing the work And there's a person who knows the reality that this is an extremely dangerous situation.
Those who came face to face with the Saturday attack have now to live with the disturbing memories of a chapter they wish was never written.
It is the level of inhumanity, the level of cruelty, the level of wickedness with which these attackers executed their mission. They did not seem to have mercy on any of these people. A lot of them were innocent children and women. And they even went to the extent of following people under their cars. There are a lot of people that we had to pull out of the cars. So it means that someone was trying to hide under a car and they followed him all the way there. So the level of deliberate and purposeful way of exerting serious injury and killing is one thing that I've not been able to come to terms with.
Go ahead.
They were so close, yet they sacrificed limb and life to save a life. The heroes of the Westgate attack we must never forget. And Mawathe, Citizen Weekend.